Hello, hello, team. It is part one of Charlotte's Web, chapter 17. So here's the materials that you will need. Gather those things first, of course, before we move on. All right, so let's take a look at today's questions for chapter 17. Chapter 17 says, use your senses to describe the fair by writing and illustrating. And of course, our senses are our sense of taste, smell, touch, and hearing. Okay, so on one side of our chart, it says write, and on the other side, it says draw. And this is the must do of the day. So on this side, the right side of our chart, you're going to draw what they saw. So write it, we'll do that together, and then you're going to draw it. What they heard, we'll write it, you draw it. What they smelled, and then finally what they tasted. Okay. On the bottom, have you ever been to a fair? And I asked you this question yesterday, right? Yes or no, circle it. And then on the back, that uncle. We're going to see a brand new character today. And in number 3, it says, circle or highlight the following words to describe uncle. And uncle is the new character that we're going to see in chapter 17. Would you say in the chapter he was said to be intelligent, radiant, dirty, dull, like boring, terrific, unpleasant, large, weak, spring pig, like Wilbur, or friendly? So circle the words that describe him in the chapter. Number 4, why did Charlotte and Wilbur worry about Uncle winning? What can be explained there? And finally, number 5, who do you think will win the award? Color your choice. Would it be Uncle or will it be Wilbur? Look at how much bigger he is compared to Wilbur. So we're going to see who wins that that contest later on in this chapter. All right, let's take a look at some of our new vocabulary words from chapter 17. Our first word is a pickpocket. Now, pickpocket, let you take a look at that picture here. Look at that. And it has even the word a thief. So a pickpocket is someone who steals from people's pockets, right, without them knowing. Thief, goodness. And finally, listless, listless. And that T is almost silent, listless. To be listless is to be without any energy. Some of you might be listless right now, who knows? So that is our new words for chapter 17. Let's take a look at some words to know for this chapter. So they're off to the fair, right? Let's see what they're going to see. First thing they'll say is the word soda pop. Now, some people in different parts of our country call soda pop. It just means the same thing. So pop and soda are exactly the same. Exactly the same. Then they talk about Fern, or Fern talks about going onto the fair swings. And these, of course, are the swings. Of course. One other way to make me feel sick, boys and girls. But as a kid, I loved this ride. Have you been on this ride? And then the Fair Midway, I kind of described it yesterday, but it's basically that middle area where we have all the games and stuff. There might even be some rides like a carousel here, okay? How many of you have ever played this game before? I've played that game many a times where you had to toss something and pop the balloon and you can win like a picture. They're also going to talk about Cracker Jacks. And if you've never had Cracker Jacks before, this is what they look like. They come in a little box and it says Cracker Jack on it, and it's basically like a peanut popcorn mixture that's dipped in caramel. It's really good. Really, really good. And then, of course, a candied apple. A candied apple is an apple on a stick that is dipped into hot sugar, and it kind of hardens over it and it becomes chewy. And it's kind of like eating this crust of sugary, soft caramel goo and an apple, and that's a candied apple. It's a little different than a caramel apple. See how these apples look like they're red? And they're like kind of, here's a good one. They almost like break off like candy on the around the outside. It's like kind of gooey and candy-ish like. A caramel apple is a little bit different. And these ones are a lot more chewier. And see how it looks like it's sort of brown? And they put all kinds of things around the outside of caramel apples, like candies and nuts and swirls of chocolate. So it's a little different than a candied apple, which is what they talk about in the book. All right, you guys, that's it for today's vocabulary and words to know for Charlotte's Web. Let's start reading chapter 17 in part 2 of this video. See you then.